Good morning, everybody in Bled. Hello, colleagues from online. And dear Piotr, good morning. Hopefully you had a nice evening yesterday. For those who are not joining us, it was a really nice evening. Nevertheless, COVID restrictions, but everybody was very, very carefully. So it's my great honor to host you also online. These are different, let's say, demanding times for everybody, especially for our technicians to establish the connection to everybody. But nevertheless, today's session, we're going to focus on the future of SET Plan Conference, which is more or less, let's say, connected to our EU goals, to our aim to become more climate neutral and to achieve all the ambitious goals that are before us. So let me shortly introduce our guests and my colleagues, co-speakers. First, let's start with the ladies. Madam Minister Tine van der Straten will join us online also with a short video message. Then there is Madame Wöderensdorfer. Good morning, Madame Razzo, good morning, and Mr. Magneham, good morning, and also to you, Mr. Naimski, good morning. So let's start with the ladies. Madame Minister is from Belgium, responsible for energy and in government of the Kingdom of Belgium. Mr. Naimski here on my right side comes from Poland. He is State Secretary in the government, responsible for nuclear or all the new energies, so to call it. Then Madame Wöderensdorfer is Deputy Director General in the Directorate for General Energy. Madame Razzo is Deputy Director in General of the Directorate General for Research and Innovation. And Mr. Magneham is Deputy Director General at the Joint Research Center. Okay, so welcome to everybody also here on site. As I said, first and let's say foremost, we like to tackle some things in the let's say housekeeping. Housekeeping rule is going to be we have started a little bit late, but nevertheless we have time till 10 o'clock. Every speaker has for the kickoff has 5 minutes altogether. We have 3 minutes for each speaker. Okay, let's start maybe with I would like kindly invite you, dear guests, to shortly present your vision on the idea of the future of the SET Plan Conference. But firstly, as I said, let's start with the Madame Minister van der Straten. She has a video message for us, so please.
Good morning to all of you. First, I would like to thank my Slovenian colleague and good friend Jerne for inviting me to this conference. Unfortunately, I'm not able to come to Slovenia nor to participate live in the event due to commitments in Parliament. Though I would love to give you my view on the future of the SET Plan in this video. The SET Plan is our common European research and innovation energy-related agenda. It is the result of a continuous, co-creative, participatory process with governments, industry, and research community. It is a framework for strengthened energy-related research and innovation cooperation in Europe from basic research to markets. It is the technology pillar of EU's energy and climate policy, already for more than 10 years. And during all those years, SET Plan has proved to be a flexible, overarching framework that can easily adapt to political priorities and changing global energy policy contexts. In the light of the new policy context, it is obvious that the SET Plan is at the heart of the Green Deal and the Fit for 55 package. It is more than ever relevant and necessary. Also, this time, the SET Plan has to, but will certainly, reorient itself to the new policy priorities. In the next months, the discussions in both the SET Plan Steering Group and the implementation working groups will focus on these very important exercise. More than ever, we will need a set plan to deliver the necessary technologies and innovations that Europe needs to reach climate neutrality by 2050. The set plan is about energy research, about design and innovation cooperation among member states, and about aligning those policies and programs with EU policies and programs. And the latter is important. Together, we should deliver on the set plan. The set plan framework should be a reference framework all over Europe. European programs can help to direct and align national or regional funding, and they can substantially leverage national and regional programs and funding. The Clean Energy Transition Partnership and Driving Urban Transition Partnership are about to start and will mobilize substantial funding from the member states. The set plan targets should be at the center of these work programs. It will strengthen our technological leadership worldwide, and it will create more sustainable jobs in Europe. It will deliver the energy transition and a climate-neutral society in a cost-competitive way. But the set plan should also be at the center of the policy discussions about climate neutrality and European competitiveness. Europe is a frontrunner in energy and climate policy. And Europe should also be the global technology leader in those energy technologies we need for our transition to climate neutrality. Therefore, the set plan should be brought even more under the attention of both energy and research and innovation ministers and relevant councils. This will trigger the broad political support necessary to deliver on the set plan goals and hence the European overarching goals. The visibility of the set plan should be our common concern and endeavour for the nearby future, because an enhanced research and innovation cooperation framework will help to reach the Green Deal targets. I thank you for your attention and I wish you a very inspiring session and an interesting last day of the SET conference.
Thank you, Madam Minister. So let's start with our discussion. And yes, ladies first, of course. Could you, Madame Wörensdorfer, describe what is your view on the future of the SET plan? We heard Madam Minister, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much and good morning to everyone. I'm very pleased to join this high-level panel of the SET Plan conference. Unfortunately, not in Bled in Slovenia, but here online only. It's a pleasure to be participating also because it's not my first SET Plan conference. In my previous function, also in DG Energy, but also at the International Energy Agency, I had participated many times, and I wanted to start to underline the key achievements which the SET Plan has already done, both to the member states and to joint action and boosting innovation and research in the area of energy. And with this success and the cooperation we have achieved between national and European research policies in the energy field, I think we can now, and that's the purpose of today, look ahead. And looking ahead means, as the minister already said, we have to adapt and even accelerate innovation. We all know the European Commission's priority of the European Green Deal and the Fit for 55. And in the Fit for 55 package, which means we have to decrease dramatically emissions in this decade, we have also to accelerate innovation. In that sense, we know it will be difficult. The International Energy Agency in deep research, which was done in my team at the Energy Technology Perspective, clearly said that at least half of the technologies which we need to become carbon neutral by 2050 are not yet on the market. So half are in a very early stage of research and development. They are not yet mature, then a prototype or demonstration phase. So that means we have to do both. We have to look at those which are at a more mature stage and bring them to the market, deploy them, have economy of scale. And on the other side, we need to look at those technology which we need to bring out of that prototype state and closer to the market as well. So the last set plan communication dates back from 2015. 6 years later, the energy landscape has changed dramatically. And I think we have seen that the set plan, and the minister just said it, it's a core tool for our member states to look and engage in industry and research with institute and other member states. So it sets the right priorities, and it had led to very concrete cooperation actions under the European research area, which we call the ERA nets, which have been operational under the Horizon 2020 plan. But we also see that these kind of ERA nets, these kind of joint action have been rather isolated. And I think we need a more holistic approach. And the Commission has come out last year, what we call the system integration. So putting the different projects in energy efficiency and renewables in the markets together. We need a system approach. We need a holistic approach. And I have two examples, and I don't want to be too long. For example, we have the integration of local storage with renewable energy sources. This is a common tool, and we can have all renewable sources, photovoltaics, wind, and also battery and energy systems, these different working groups, because all these different energy resources are dealt with in different working groups, to bring them together and discuss jointly on this integration of local storage. Another example could be the integration of storage with renewable heat sources or the digitalization. I'm a strong believer that we need to digitalize more the energy system, or I think we will come back, the hydrogen production and use. These are cross-cutting themes which we need to discuss jointly above and the discussion in the different working group. So I think our clean energy transition partnership are a unique opportunity between our member states and the association country to work well together. We also, and that's my last point, have asked member states to have national energy and climate plans. This is part of the governance, where since 2-3 years, we ask member states, and they have done so. They have a 10-year plan till 2030, how to become climate neutral and reduce by 55% the greenhouse gas emission. And one key pillar here is research and innovation and competitiveness. And I think we cannot underline it enough to bring this plan, which the member states have, in line with our set plan priorities in the research area. And I'm stopping here and looking very much forward to the discussion. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Madame Wednersdorfer, for your, may I say, holistic view on this set plan. And yes, set plan, as you said, needs to, let's say, adopt to all the new policies and landscape and deliver results sooner or later. So now, Madame Ratzot, the floor is yours. What's your view? What's your view on the future of set plan, please?
Yes, State Secretaries, dear colleagues, dear participants of the conference, it's my great pleasure to attend the SET conference. The SET plan is our core mechanism to engage with member states, with industry and stakeholders on clean energy research and innovation. And it's certainly a valuable and consolidated tool towards clean energy technologies, because it helps us align perspectives and reinforce common European goals. And it also involves experts, stakeholders over the whole clean energy value chain, from industry to research to policymakers and public administrations. However, to stay relevant, the SET plan needs to evolve over time. And this was clearly the message that I heard from Minister and also from Mechtild in the previous interventions. And in this respect, it is especially important for the set plan to adapt to the high-level policy context. We know that climate change and environmental degradation are existential threats to Europe and to the world. As a result, our aim is for the Green Deal to help overcome these challenges. We also know that accelerating transition towards clean energy will be the core challenge for reaching a zero-carbon European economy. Research and innovation will evidently be crucial to achieve our ambitious energy and climate targets. Fit for 55, key initiatives such as smart sector integration, offshore renewable energy strategy, renovation wave, and the hydrogen strategy, as well as research and innovation initiatives under Horizon Europe and the renewed ERA frame provide a new context for the set plan. Similarly, because of the pandemic, the recovery funds will also play a significant role in supporting climate actions. The timing for revitalizing the set plan is therefore optimal. This is why the European Commission has started the process to evaluate the current structure of the set plan and also to discuss what the future of the set plan might look like. But this is something that we will do together with all the stakeholders and to have a proposal for revising the set plan ready for the next presidency conference. That is within 1 year from now. But today we are here to set the first steps for identifying the optimal path, how this may look like. And just a few ideas to share. For the set plan to deliver genuine impact, it may, for instance, benefit from integrating more deployment of technologies in its cross-cutting work and better link to future deployment of technologies it supports. It may also benefit from being more mission-driven. This will narrow the focus and increase the momentum for certain activities. Such deep changes may also require stronger synergies between the EU, national and regional programs and funding sources. So these are the types of discussions we need to have. So the set plan is ours and together we can shape it so that it may help us really achieve our own goals.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your intervention. So if I might underline, the synergies between EU member states is the most important as well. So our next speaker is Mr. Mangenhan. Please, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. It's also a pleasure to be with you, and congratulations for the hybrid organization. This is our new normal. I think that overall we can all agree that the set plan has been a success. We can be proud of what has already been achieved, but what we see is a fast changing world, and the set plan needs to evolve to make sure that we meet our new climate commitments. The last update, it has been mentioned, was in 2015, and since then we have seen political development, in particular the European Green Deal, which sets more ambitious climate targets than ever before. We have seen technological developments such as the emergence of hydrogen as a key future energy carrier. And we have also seen economic developments, including the Recovery and Resilience Facility, with 37% of its funds targeted to climate investments. And together with Horizon Europe, we have now an unprecedented level of funding for the energy transition. As already mentioned, also we need to get this set plan in aligned with the Fit for 55 communication. The make or break decade has already started. And according to the International Energy Agency, almost half of the emission reduction we need to meet our 2050 goals will come from technologies that have not yet been brought to market. So the set plan needs bolder, more targeted priorities in line with the European Green Deal. We need to accelerate our impact by integrating our activities more closely with member states, and this will bring us the cohesion we need in research and in innovation landscape. It will boost our competitiveness, and it will help us to make the most intelligent use of the funding available. From the GRC perspective, we can do a lot. We will certainly strengthen the SET plan information system, SETIS, in order to provide the best scientific evidence available. We will deepen our cooperation with the SET plan community on the exchange of information and data. And this two-way flow of information will help us to monitor the innovation and competitiveness landscape in more depth. Plus, we will help the SET plan community to make decisions informed by the most up-to-date information in the field. And if you look, I have it here, to our newly published SET plan progress report, you might not see it in this hybrid setup, that has been launched today in this conference. You will see that collaboration across sectors has increased between the working group, but not only, also with external partners. And this is really, really good news. But we need still to strengthen this collaboration further to ensure that the SET plan is more than just the sum of its parts. So we have some ideas about what the GRC could bring to the SET plan of the future, but at the end of the day, the SET plan belongs to all of us. And we are really keen to hear your views in the coming weeks and months on how we can strengthen the SET plan, supercharge our impact, and work together to meet the massive global challenges that lies ahead. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Merci beaucoup for your intervention. So, last but not least, Mr. Naimski, you are a very experienced person. You've seen a lot of such conferences. What's your view on the future?
Thank you very much for inviting me to this conference. Bled is a very nice place, despite of raining today. I think that we have to stress different angles of our transformation strategy or strategies. Actually, let me make a half joke. You know, we switched R&D to R&I. It's a word waiting for somebody who will find a difference. But net zero emission energy systems, they of course need security. They need safety. There is a difference between security and safety. I'm working in Poland on this security side because I am responsible for transmission power lines. And security of energy supplies is connected with with junctions between those very innovative, sometimes technologies and energy sources spread around, and abilities, you know, to use different, let's say, green approaches together, because still our governments are responsible for security of energy supply to everybody in our countries. So, talking about those new technologies, about new possibilities, we have to have in mind that security of those transmission lines, of those systems, energy systems, resilience of those systems is the necessity, is really crucial. And everything should be really balanced and taken in a holistic really way, I agree, because new technologies for generation, for electricity generation, they, I mean, first of all, of course, we would like to have them non-emission. But then, next step is that we have to balance between those technologies. We have to keep, for example, base load generation capacities, because you know, we shouldn't be dependent only on weather or wind, and storages. Of course, storages, mass storages of energy, this will be the future. If I would like to stress a very technical point for our consideration, these are storages. Because, mass storages, efficient mass storages and cheap mass storages would be game changer or game changers in the future. So if we would like to stress on that, would be good, and pour some money for those research or those institutes dealing with this problem. But you know, if we are talking about security, we have to touch cybersecurity. Because, you know, we may have a lot of technologies, series of the greatest developments, and they should be resistant. They should be resistant against cyber attacks. We have them already today. We have to deal with them. Innovations are very much in need in this field. I think that, you know, security of our systems is one side, safety of our systems is other side. Sometimes it overlaps, but safety of, let's say, nuclear power plants or nuclear energy systems based on the nuclear technologies. This is something which we have to have in consideration, and this really needs, once again, innovations and new thoughts. Thank you.
Thank you for your in-depth message and intervention. So the kickoff is now, the first round is over, so let's go to the 2 questions which we posed, and every speaker has 2 minutes. A lot of you mentioned in your interventions the member states, and as well the different documentation, Fit for 55, and also the national energy and climate plans for every country, which let's say gives us a good overview out where the member states stand on research, on innovation as well, and also in the energy field. So taking this into account and let's say building on our past experience, my question would be, let's say, in 2 ways. Firstly, how could the member states strengthen alignment of the action in regard to research and innovation within the EU priorities? And secondly, where do we go from there? What can we do? Mr. Naimski.
All right. I think that first we should try to organize dedicated money, dedicated funds for innovations. I think that we should try to combine efforts which was already started. For example, we have agency dealing with cybersecurity in European Union, placed in Greece, right? And you know, forgive me, I am stressing this site I mentioned before, but I think that digitalization of our economies, of our countries, is of course the necessity, but digitalization provides some real problems. and we should deal with them. Once again, if we are talking about the digitalization, you know, already we have conference online, right? So this is a sign of where we are today. And we need those means based on the digitalized world, made safer, made friendly for us. And this is what we can try to discuss horizontally, because this is need for everybody. And I think that we understand the problem in all our European countries, and we may share experiences, and this is the direction I would like to suggest.
Thank you. So the next gentleman, Mr. Magehan, how do you see this? And
Yes.
maybe another, to prolong a little bit the question, how to engage with the less active countries on that topic?
Thank you. I believe that one of the key success of the SET plan has been that it contributed to an effective support to the energy union governance. We have contributed with national research, development, and competitiveness agendas. And as a result, I would say that the SET plan is explicitly included today in the majority of the national energy and climate plans. And here we see the benefits of a joined up thinking and working together. So that's an achievement which we should note. We have also on our side contributed to provide evidence and methodologies, guidance to the member states, and we have participated in the review of the plans. But I'm sure that we still can do better. One of our aims should be that the SET plans reflected in all member states should be including a certain number of criteria and should be reviewed around the progress made in 2023 and beyond. And how can we achieve this? Well, it comes back to very basic principles of visibility and engagement. I believe that when member states are actively engaged in the SET plan, and when they participate in our number of working groups that we have set up, and they endorse the implementation plans, they will gladly embed our collective SET plan goals into their national research and innovation agendas. So I believe that the SET plan brings together stakeholders from across Europe to reach informed conclusions where we are and where we want to go. We need member states to embrace the conclusions as long as they see and trust the process. And that's our task, really, to profile our SET plans so that all parties involved in energy and climate planning are aware of it and ready to turn to it when they are setting their agenda and measuring their progress. So to sum up, stronger SET plans with meaningful actions endorsed by member states will be a powerful tool for alignment. And that's, for me, the way to go.
Thank you so much for your intervention. So you mentioned collective goals. What is your position on, Madame Razzo, on let's say, our past experience and the research and innovation? What do you think?
Just perhaps first to relate also how really to engage all the countries. What could be the experiences from which we can learn from. Now what we've seen, for instance, in COP26, the countries which are better prepared for climate change will help to pull the other countries towards more activities or involve them also in their activities. And now to give another example is the agenda concerning the process on the pilot of the green hydrogen. We know that not all member states are interested in the same actions, in the same technologies, but clearly a win-win situation has to be found. That's why we aim to go one step further, namely from coordination to finding synergies between various levels of intervention. Another aspect that may be relevant is to consider if the set plan could be more mission-driven, as I already mentioned in my first intervention. For instance, by forging coalitions focusing on ambitious, shared objectives and on cross-cutting challenges, which member states may find more attainable. But clearly, what is really what we should aim at is for the set plan to be a genuinely strategic tool. Bernhard also mentioned that. And by that, what I mean that it should be able to coordinate with and also with our priorities and also to reinforce our priorities. The current version is great at monitoring, but it should be more visible and straightforward in terms of impact. The future may need to be more versatile, more challenge-driven in order to gain more momentum and political support. It could also link more with other strategic actions at the European and national level. Just a few thoughts.
Thank you so much. And at the end, Madame Wörisdorfer, what's your position on that?
Thank you very much. First of all, I think I fully agree what Signe and Bernhard said on the link between the national energy and climate plans and the set plan. I think for us, the national energy and climate plan is a key tool, but also for the member states. So here to link it strongly, as most member states have done, and I would like to thank them also because it's an integrated approach, it's not an easy approach, and it takes a lot of intensive interaction also with us. And that has worked well, I would say. So this is a good achievement, but we can always do better. And I would say we can do better in two areas. First of all, when we look at these national energy and climate plans and when they mention the set plan, we can be a bit more concrete. Which areas, and I think hydrogen is certainly one, but there might be others, our national energy and research efforts could be directed. So for us, it would be important that the national energy and climate plans and the set plans are a bit more focused on the priorities, on concrete action, what they see, and that could help us, what we are discussing right now, to further improve the set plan in view of the next steps. And secondly, in that context, we are working with all the 27 EU member states, and there are certainly some who are more engaged, more advanced, and we should really highlight the added value which that brings with those member states and us working on the set plan priorities. And if we have some good best practice, we could also then show it to those member states who might be a little less advanced or less engaged for a couple of reasons. So I think this integrated interactive tool, which the set plan and the conference today and other occasion in the working groups could really have even more progress if we have the more advanced member states with those who have maybe a little less advanced, so that we can all have a mutual benefit. So I think in these two areas, be a bit more concrete when it comes to the national plan and the interaction with the set plan, and secondly, show the added value of the cooperation and the results achieved so far in the set plan to all the member states, and bring everyone along and better understand their national dynamics. I think that could be of value to everybody. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So this brings us to the last third question. I would kindly ask you all, the panelists, to stick to the 2 minutes rule, because after that we can have some more questions from the audience. A lot of you mentioned the documents like NCP, like Fit for 55, like the energy law, like the new technologies, hydrogen and so on. And this brings us to the financing, the word or the topic that we do not like to discuss so often. And when the Commission assessed the NCPs in 2020, the conclusion was that these documents failed to pay enough or sufficient attention to R&I needs for delivering the climate and energy objectives. What's your opinion, or what do you think? Should member states spend more of these revenues on research and innovation now that the CO2 prices are sky high? Yesterday they were 75 euros per ton. And is there a role for the set plan in that? Maybe we should start with the ladies. Madame Razzo, please.
Okay. Well, many thanks. Now, I assume that countries may have already have come to understand that in the long term, investments in green technologies will pay off. And as you've just mentioned, with the high CO2 prices, that choice becomes somewhat easier to make, and hopefully at a sooner date. Because of this changing perspective, we may see more countries pushing for green research and innovation, simply because the return on investment is much closer on the horizon. Well, it is like restocking the fridge. You need to do it at regular intervals, or you will run out of food. In the same manner, if you want to keep reaping the benefits of green profit, you have to make sure that you are stocking up on green technologies. In this respect, I think that the set plan has an important role to play. At the same time, we have to be mindful of the fact that we must also be able to use the technologies that we create. That means we need to be able to deploy them in the real world in order to have any impact. And it is the same with the milk. You have to drink it before it's gone sour. So the set plan needs to be able to tackle both these aspects of restocking and deploying clean energy technologies.
Thank you for your intervention. How, with having in mind the recovery and the resilience fund, could this be improved also in the, let's say, in this area? What do you think, the second lady, Madame Wödersdorfer, please?
Thank you very much. Indeed, I think I wanted to mention that the EU has funds available for research and innovation. And there's obviously Horizon Europe, which is the main research tool, and there is a cluster which is focusing on energy and climate. There's the Innovation and Modernization Funds, the Invest EU, and what you just mentioned, the Recovery and Resilient Funds. This is something which is happening now. I think all the EU member states have come up with their recovery plans, and that is money we give until 2023. So it's happening now, and I think there's a lot of focus on energy efficiency and renewables. I think between 35–40% are on clean energy technologies and deployment. But we should also remind, and I think Signe said it very clearly, we shouldn't forget the medium term and the valuable investments we need in these clean energy technologies. And member states can use these funds, including the recovery facility, to invest in these improvements or new technologies. As I said in the beginning, we can also improve existing technology and have innovation in energy efficiency and in renewables. which are based on existing tools, but we can improve, make them more efficient, less emission free or cheaper. So I think the funds are available. We need to take them up. There obviously are also national funds and private money which is needed, because the challenges ahead to become carbon neutral, to have that decarbonization we want, are quite ambitious. And secondly, we also looked at what other members and third countries are doing. And we can see from our last competitiveness report that the EU public research and innovation spending is relatively low compared to our competitors like the EU or even China. So I think the EU has to step up jointly and with our member states in the funding which is needed in clean energy innovation. And as you say, with the carbon price at 75 euros right now, there is even more a need and a push to go to the clean options in the future, which will help us all. So I think this exchange and the funding is a necessary complement to all the regulatory tools and planning which we have. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Do you share this view, Bernard, with the panelists before?
Yes, I do, and maybe I can go a little bit more in details based on the report we have just released, providing you 2 examples. I agree with you that finance is a difficult topic, but it's an essential topic if we want here to reach our goals. We need more investments in research and development. And let me just give you 2 examples coming from our report. In 2018, research and innovation in clean technologies saw overall an investment of 29 billion euro in the European Union. And if you look to the detail, you see that 83% of this money came from the private sector, which is good. It demonstrates that the private sector is embracing the political signals for change. Now, if you look to public research and innovation investments, you see also an increase, but the levels are still lower than a decade ago. And if you look, you compare this with other major economies, we are not so good. So today we have, as Mechtilde mentioned, we have Horizon Europe, we have the recovery and resilience facilities, and those are important sources of intelligent financing to boost clean energy solutions in the European area. So the second example I would like to give you is the state of play of the early stage investment in new startups, where we see some good news because they were higher in Europe for the first time, by the way, compared to US and China. But when we go a little bit more in granularity, you see that the climate tech startups still trail their counterparts in the US and China in terms of their ability to scale up. So we have here some challenges ahead that must be tackled and must be tackled by a smart, targeted financial backing of clean energy technologies.
Thank you. Financing and R&I.
What I would like to stress is that probably we should focus, talking about financing, on those aspects or those projects or areas which are not covered yet but major financial stream. For example, hydrogen is today, I mean, this is obvious. You know, everybody would like to finance hydrogen projects. It seems they will feel safe. It's good to hear that there are available funds on EU level. Probably we could think, for example, about a special sub-fund for startups in Europe. Because, you know, if we want to compete, we have to find a new, very, really innovative platform for competition rather than trying to follow what's already is going on. Thank you.
We have 3 more minutes. We got a question from the audience. So, do you see it on the screen? The question is, what is the EU strategy for scaling up international R&I collaboration beyond EU? And what is the role of the SET plan in this respect? Some questions were already answered. So, if you have anything to add, dear panelists, online? Yes, please, Madame Weddersdorfer.
Yeah, thank you. Because as I've worked quite a lot on the international context, I think the SET plan is a very good example. And there are at the international level where the European Commission is very much engaged on research and innovation. I can highlight the mission innovation, which is about doubling the research in the next couple of years. And the European Commission is an active member here, together with the US and many other partners. There's also the Clean Energy Ministerial, which goes a bit above. It's more on the innovation side and the deployment side, where we're also working with major partners. And on specific technologies, I think we can bring the working groups under the SET plan, which are EU focused and where the EU partners are very active in exchanging, even closer, for example, to the technology collaboration program, which are led by the International Energy Agency. So there is a bit of synergy between Europe and international in the existing fora. I don't think we need new fora. We need to see where we can really both at the research level of the policy exchange, but also on the concrete technology exchange, working more with our international partners. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Anybody else, maybe?
May I?
Yeah, please, of course, please.
Yeah. Many thanks. Well, Mehthild already spoke about mission innovation, which is really the tool with our international partners. But let me also shortly refer to the point that Mr. Naimski raised, namely concerning the scaling up of startups. And we have the European Innovation Council, which is part of Horizon Europe program, the third pillar, which is namely being established for that purpose. And certainly, even if it mostly is focusing on the acceleration of the bottom-up calls, but it also has the possibility to have more strategic approach, and clearly the green energy transition is one of those where it also focuses. So we have the tool also as part of our program.
Maybe Bernard or Peter is coming, so that means that we are out of time, or not yet? We have 2 minutes.
Sir, you have 1 minute and 10 seconds.
Look again.
Sir, you have 1 minute and 5 seconds.
Oh, are you sure? So,
you have 1 minute.
Dear guests, dear panelists, thank you so much. And also the audience which are looking at us online. Unfortunately, I could not be here. It's a tremendous nice weather in Bled, as always at that time of year. So it's been an honor and a privilege to have you all here. Thank you for coming, especially to Piotr. Thank you for coming from Poland to here and discussing the future of the SET Plan Conference. A lot was mentioned, a lot of R&I was mentioned, of financing was mentioned. And when we talk about the strategic technology, we need to know that, as was yesterday said, I believe from our minister, that in energy sector, 2030 is tomorrow, or it's today, and 2050 is one day.
It is worth to mention that yesterday I was told that there was a certain survey taken And majority of participants of this conference said that in 2040 or 2050, nuclear energy will be the leading part of our mixes.
In Slovenia, this is today happening. We have an excellent operating nuclear power plant. So, okay, thank you again. Thank you once again. 15 seconds. Before concluding, I would like to thank all the panelists again and have a nice day and stay healthy.